There's a new airliner in town, and this one's pretty nice. Hey there, I'm John. This is Two Brothers RC, and this is the E-flite Airbus A320 Neo twin 64mm. It's big, it's new, it's easy to set up to fly. That's all well and good, but let's find out if this airliner has clear skies ahead of it, or if we've got to hit the seatbelt fasten sign. So let's dive into it and see how it stacks up to the no patent pending Two Brothers review system. Before we get into the agility section, let's start by giving you my actual opinion of the E-flite Airbus. I'm not going to name names, but there is another jet that we'll be comparing this to, which takes a ton of time to assemble at the field by comparison. This one goes together so fast, it's kinda weird. As someone who owns said unnamed airliner from another company, it desperately needs some upgrades to be more viable compared to how simple this one is to assemble. Flying wise, this jet is pretty easy to handle, and it's way more capable than you might think it is. I had a lot of fun flying it, and I can't wait to compare it to the unnamed airliner that I also own. But for now, we'll review it using the metric system for 70mm jets and twin 64mm jets. First up in our maneuverability checklist, we look for whether the Airbus is prone to accelerated stalls. You can see me hauling ass with this jet and yanking it around through tight banked turns. If it's prone to accelerated stalls, it certainly doesn't seem like it based on how aggressive I was able to fly it without either the wings tearing off or the jet dropping a wing and stalling, so I'd say that's a pass. This jet is exceptionally easy to make less nose heavy. Unlike the counterpart airliner, I didn't have to add any weight in the tail to get it to balance over the main wheels, which is where I prefer to balance most aircraft. This does have a consequence though. It does make the jet pitch up on the takeoff roll. All aircraft with motors mounted under the wings will have a pitch up tendency to them. This is magnified quite a bit when you balance over the main wheels. Fortunately, all you need to do is push the nose down slightly, and that fixes it. But it also makes it rotate really fast if you want it to do that, and that's a pass here. Segueing into our next point, taking off is very easy. Gently push the throttle stick to full and rotate. Don't push the stick to full instantly to avoid tail striking. If you want to avoid the nose lifting up on its own, you can balance ahead of the main wheels, which does make it a little nose heavier. But it will prevent the nose from rising as much due to the thrust line. So pick your preferred takeoff style. Fly it nose heavier to prevent the nose from rising on its own, or fly it more like the full-scale Airbus and add some pitch down as you throttle up. Also, balancing it over the main wheels makes it fly more like a fighter jet, which I really like. Landing is also pretty easy too. If you're familiar with a stabilized approach, the Airbus is a dream to land. Bring it in with some power on the back side of the throttle curve and flare it gently onto the mains. Touch and go practice with this jet is a ton of fun and a total must do. If you're unfamiliar with what a stabilized approach is, fret not. I'll be posting a video on the E-flite Viper 70mm soon, which covers the basics of how to fly a jet, which should help you out with your landings especially. One thing to note though, the thrust reverse setup on this jet unfortunately does little more than make a lot of noise. The air shoots forward in a cone instead of in a straight line, so it doesn't really stop the jet at all. Still, at least it sounds cool, and it does pass this checkpoint. The Airbus is pretty overpowered for an airliner, which is awesome. It can do ridiculous climbs in addition to high-speed passes, and knife edges too. It's very impressive for what it is. It's not just a circle-flying touch-and-go machine. You can do some pretty impressive aerobatics with it if you're of that persuasion. The Airbus passes this checkpoint as well. Stall recovery is stupid easy, even if you balance over the wheels. I actually tested the high alpha capability of this jet purely by holding full back elevator pressure just to see what would happen. With some thrust applied, the Airbus wing rocks and looks like hell in the air, but it doesn't drop a wing, and it doesn't bite you hard. It's very gentle in the air until you tell it to fly more like a fighter jet and start ripping around with it. You should experience no issues with this jet in a stall, so long as you're not too low to the ground when you stall it. So keep on the throttle while you're maneuvering and don't try to dead stick it while you land. The Airbus passes this checkpoint too for a total score of 5 out of 5. Moving on to flight time, this is the A320's specialty, above and beyond anything else that it actually does. Even full throttle passes for 30 seconds at a time aren't going to drain the battery much. I was averaging 6 minutes of flight even with high speed passes, knife edging, and huge climbs. This jet is incredibly efficient on the Spectrum 5000 G2 and 6000 Pro Air batteries that I flew on, and I even got above 7 minutes at one point, still with aggressive flying, and it scores a 5 out of 5 here as well. Moving into the landing gear section, let's talk takeoff and landing again. First, it's got functional wheels, but as usual, they're hard. Yes, the wheels do seem to share a bit of commonality with the Habu XS that released recently. This is a pass and a fail. The wheels are attached to a suspension system, and it seems pretty robust too, similar to the other airliner that we own, and it passes as a result. The gear do require low maintenance, which is no more than any other retractable gear set that I've flown before, which is a pass. I do believe that they work flawlessly if you're using them as intended. Do be aware that you might bring it in on a single main wheel like I did here if you're not allowing the gear to extend and retract fully before trying to drop or raise them again. Specifically, I mean don't drop the gear right after pulling them up. Give the gear a chance to cycle fully before attempting to drop them. I don't think this really qualifies as being defective or anything because it's not particularly common in my experiences for someone to drop the gear right after pulling it up. So just be aware that this is something that can happen if you're not giving the gear a couple of seconds needed to fully extend or retract before changing the switch position. I'm going to call it a pass here as well, and that earns the Airbus a 4 out of 5. Before we move on to the fit and finish and avionics sections, consider scrolling down just a little bit and hit that like button for me. If you're not already subscribed, definitely consider it. And if you're not part of our Discord chat server community yet, hop down to the description below, join up, and chat airplanes with us. Out of the box, the Airbus A320 Neo came with perfect paint and perfect foam, not a ding anywhere on the model. Any dings that you might see in this walk around were caused by transportation or trying to move it around in my house. Totally our fault on that one. The jet passes these first two checkpoints. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with plastic or gapless hinges. It uses foam hinges. They've held up to how I fly and the kind of goofy stuff that I like to do, but your airspeed may vary. If you do run into a situation where the foam hinges fail, hop on Discord and we'll walk you through the process of fixing it. I promise it's not hard, but the Airbus does fail this checkpoint. It ships with decals instead of stickers, which is a pass, and it comes in a bare white variant if you want a jet to completely customize yourself. And unlike the competitor airliner, you don't have to paint the wings, they're already done for you. That would have saved me a ton of time on my classic Delta scheme that I did. There's a big hole underneath the fuselage that allows air to flow through the aircraft, which gives the battery some airflow which is needed to keep temperatures down. After 6+ minutes of flying, both high speed and low speed alike, batteries came down warm, not hot. It's pretty awesome. The A320 passes here with a 4 out of 5. As far as setup goes, this is a very easy jet to put together. You just need to install 4 wing bolts at the field, and you can break the jet in half for easy transportation too. The vertical and horizontal stabilizers both pop in place and can be assembled and disassembled without any tools. Assembly at the field is pretty fast, and disassembly is easy as well. Moving into our final section, avionics and lighting. The Airbus A320 comes with all metal servos. These are the same ones Horizon has been using for quite a while now. They're fast and precise, which is awesome, and I'm happy to see Horizon continuing to release aircraft with higher quality stock servos. That's a pass. The ESC is a twin 40-amp Avian that never overheated at all, even in the August heat or our early September cooling down period, even with 6+ minutes of flying per battery. The Airbus passes here, too. It does contain a lighting system, and it does appear to be correct, though I'll say the same thing I said with the Habu XS, which is that I hope Horizon will work with the factory to improve the brightness of the LEDs so they're more visible in daytime. This is a pass as well. The servos are easily replaceable. They're installed with servo doors, which require a 1.5mm hex driver to undo. If you find that a servo died or you just want better ones for some reason, you can easily swap them out. That's a pass too. The battery tray is exceptionally well designed, with plenty of space to put the battery far forward or as aft as you could reasonably want it to be positioned. You can balance easily over the wheels, or you can balance a decent amount ahead of the wheels. It all comes down to personal preference, and the Airbus A320 earns a 5 out of 5 in this section. Tallying up the final scoring here, we find that the E-flite Airbus A320 Neo scores a 23 out of 25. That's pretty awesome, and it's great to see a new airliner come out that's this capable. If you like civilian aircraft and you want to rip around with a jet, this one is a solid choice. It scores high on our single 70mm and twin 64mm ranking scale, and basically comes with almost everything you'd want out of the box, except for a custom paint scheme. If you're into that kind of thing, go have a chat with Cali Graphics and get a set of decals printed up and paint the white version to be whatever you want it to be. If you like what you've seen so far, hop down to the description below and buy it from our affiliate link, which directly supports what we do here at Two Brothers RC. Horizon Hobby graciously sent this aircraft over to demo for you, thanks again by the way. And not every company does though. Affiliate purchases and being a channel member on twobrosrc.com/supporters also helps keep us going. Speaking of channel members, huge thanks goes out to our channel members on twobrosrc.com/supporters. And a very special thanks goes out to our mega fans, Sarasota RC Squadron, Michael Smith, JR Man, Todd, and N411X, along with our Ultra fan, TBRC fan. You guys kick so much ass. If you want to try a more advanced setup for this aircraft, you can unlock the receiver, use 150 travel on all control surfaces, 50% expo on all axes, and copy down the gain settings you see on screen currently. Then tie these gains into a throttle-based gain mix, which has been demoed in both the NX Radio tutorial and in the AS3X Plus tutorials as well. Both are linked below for your viewing convenience. As always, if you have questions, hop on Discord and ask for help in the Tech and Setup channel. Coming up soon will be the long-awaited How to Fly Jets video featuring the E-flite Viper 70mm that goes in-depth into how to fly EDF jets, why I think the Viper 70mm is a perfect jet trainer, not beginner jet, and what to expect when maneuvering them, handling takeoff and landing, and generally just making sure that whatever you buy comes back in one piece more often than not. See you guys next week.